podcast. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about Adrift, because it seems like, of course, the most perfect moment to end on. You said that was a co-written song with Montaigne. How did that begin?
Adrift. We knew that Adrift was the most important song of the game.
Yeah.
And it was the song that we probably spent the most time on overall, like
I
end
think
to
that
end.
the current version appeared when we did the rewrite.
Yes. So
And you were the one who told me, well, musicals often start with, we need to know where the main character is, where they're starting their
we need the I Want song.
I Want song. So as soon as he said that, I was like, oh, okay, I get what we're going for here. And so we did a version of a song, and we just like, but we did recognize this needs to be looked at by somebody who with
So
more
I
music.
think it was one of the ones that because there are lots of ways you can co-write a song with a composer in particular. You can start with the lyrics, you can start with the music, you can have a meeting and do both. This was one where I think I started with a bunch of lyrics and I sent them to Austin, and he was like, okay, I think I have some musical ideas. And he actually, like a boat lost at sea, like that little thing he had from the beginning. Like I think literally in one of the first meetings, he like just plonked that out on the piano. And I think very early he knew that was Grace's theme. And so I was like, well, okay, well, I'll throw some stuff in there. And then he sent back a couple of versions. We went back and forth, and it never got to a place where we were happy with it. Like there were lines we really liked.
Yes.
There were like concepts we really liked. We really liked, I think Austin was the one who came up with okay, let's play with the naval navigation metaphor, like this like lost at sea idea. And I was like, okay, let's
He's also
run
the
with
one who
that.
said he wanted to have a choice in it.
Yeah.
And it was actually only near the end of a development where we actually said, hey, because normally when you started the game, you picked your trait immediately.
Yeah.
And then eventually said, why don't we just move the trait
Austin
choice?
fought so hard to move it into a song, and it was a huge pain in the ass, and it worked out really well. But yeah, there came a point where it just wasn't working. And Montaigne had been writing the love songs, and they were killing it, like absolutely destroying it. And so I was like, maybe we have some extra money and we could get them to consult on this.
Decided that we'd played If Only, the Freddie love song for the team, and had just about half the team in tears, literal tears, in the office, broken down. And I'm like, maybe we should get them to write the drift, because they seem to be pretty good at it.
When you say that you're going back and forth with Austin, is that sound clips? Is that text?
It's everything. It's like sound clips, it's text, it's hey, here's a random YouTube video that like I'm thinking about this idea, like what about that?
Little wave files of Liam singing.
Oh, God.
Like, for example, clip 8, which we could play now, if that's all right.
Have I lost the way, adrift without fate? These failed expectations, what awaits.
Hey, yo.
And then
They're going to finals.
oh God.
I was always so much happier when it was Liam who was sending the waves, as opposed to when every time I'd have to send something, I was like, please forgive me. And I would say.
How do you feel that Montaigne as a songwriter sort of adapted or changed?
So basically,
Adrift?
like they took what we had, and our request was the worst possible request you could give to an artist, which I know that Ben is deeply familiar with, which is effectively make it pop. And we basically sent it to them and said, like, look, the idea is there, but it needs to be more lyrical. Like, it needs to be more interesting and emotive. And they were like, I think I can do that. And I think they went away for a couple of days and then sent it back. And that's when, like a boat lost at sea.
It was pretty close to what we shipped with, actually.
Yeah.
There was some tweaking
Some
after
tweaks.
that point. And I think there were also tweaks once the Cinematics team was.
Yes.
We were making the actual composition of it, because it was a song that we had to split into two, because Calliope appears in the middle of it, and then we have the second half. But what Montaigne sent back first was like, especially the beginning of it, pretty much it.
I just remember like hearing it, and then every time one of my lines made it in, I was like, yes.
We actually have a clip of Montaigne performing Adrift to cue up now. That's clip 9.
Ask me everything I've set upon and rebels at my feet. Everything I've learned, wasted on a girl who doesn't know how to be free. Like a bird lost at sea, with no sails, not a breeze. I'm drifting cold waters, no star to be seen.
It's so wild how incredibly like emotive and rich their voice is, and they're just hanging out in their house in a Snoopy
Laura
shirt.
was
Like-
so intimidated in the first session, hearing the scratch, Montaigne scratch, and it was like, why do you want me to do this exactly? Because I don't know who they are, but they seem really good.
And I think it was really interesting because we were concerned that if we gave this to a voice actress, that they wouldn't be able to deliver on the performance of it because Montaigne was so good, and their control and mastery of their instrument is
Parts of the songs
exceptional.
where they would do this little voice,
They would do lilts,
little
and
dip,
they would
and in the and sometimes we would have to take those out.
Yeah.
Because
And-
we'd listen to them in the booth, and or Laura or whoever it was would be like, I can't do that.
Yeah. But I think with Adrift, it was one of the things that really assuaged our fears because Laura took it, and I remember listening in the session when she did it, and we cried. Like, both of us cried because it was so raw, and she brought such a performance. Like, she brought it to life. Like, Montaigne's version
We were never
is-
not going to cry.
That's true.
There's the songs have gone through 3 different births for us, right? From scratch to the VO performance, and then when we heard the songs being played by the orchestra.
Oh, God, yeah,
So,
that was
But
wild.
yeah, the very first session, Liam, you were there. Were you there for that entire
Yeah.
thing? Yeah. That was really. Laura was so concerned whether she had the range. Austin was like, "No, you're fine." Laura didn't really feel it until we're in the session, and she got into it. I think. Did we start with Adrift, or was it?
It was a Challenging a Queen.
Challenging a Queen. We
was
did
the
the
first
kick-ass
one.
path.
And I think
yeah.
it took until like the 4th session.
Yeah, where finally she came in and she's like, actually, you know what? I think I got this. The Challenging a Queen kick-ass, that meant we had to get through the rap part. So I can understand her concern. But yes, once we got into the clever path and we did Adrift, and you're seeing it's like there's a combination of talent, which she has in spades, obviously, but also bringing the emotion of the character to the song. Like there's a
Like the acting component of it.
acting component, yes, that is not as easily quantifiable. But when she, as soon as even in the very first session for us, for Liam and I listening to her, we're
We're
like,
like, oh yeah.
this is Grace.
Well, I mean, Montaigne's performance is so gorgeous, and their voice is like so rich, and they sing it like a song, whereas Laura, like, it like kind of moves through her in this way that feels like very, very vulnerable, I think. And her and Ashley also have just like such
God.
amazing chemistry. Like they play
Ashley
together so
Johnson. Jesus Christ.
well. Speaking of the recordings played with orchestra, I thought we might play a clip from the Myth and Magic night you had, which included a live performance of Adrift with Ashley Johnson, Laura Bailey. That's just clip 10. Thanks.
Lost at sea, with no sails, not a breeze. I am drifting cold waters, no star to be seen. just me. Everything I set upon unravels at my feet. Everything I've learned wasted on a girl who doesn't know how to be free. Like a boat lost at sea with no sails, not a breeze. I am drifting cold waters, no star to be seen. With the fire furious, I have burned my tongue. Grief from all the promises, too many dreams unsung. All the steps I didn't take and paths proved untrue. Is there any path through? Like a boat lost at sea. Oh, I'm about to sails. You still have your life ahead. I am drifting cold waters, no star to be seen. All things that lose their way can find it again. There is no inertia in the ocean. Maybe if I paddle hard enough, I'll fight the waves, try to be tough. And I belong to the sea. Like a boat lost at sea with no sails, not a breeze. I am drifting cold waters, no star